he gobbles at like 35 yards.
I thought I heard a drum, and I had some squirrels moving around me and stuff like that, and I was like, I wasn't 100% positive.
See his head stick out.
We stumble into this just giant patch of morels. Like, they were just everywhere.
I mean, it just looked like it was all about to just come together. He was about to walk over to those decoys. I was going to blast him.
And sure enough, I heard it again. Just, here he comes.
I had bent over to pick up this morel, and clear as day, I hear gobble.
Every time I'd yelp, he'd gobble.
And then we wait a little while.
We were shoving morels in the body cavity of a decoy.
Yeah. So we didn't have any bags, so...
Carry it.
And then we hear him gobble like way down the hill.
In the Ozarks, people have always lived in rhythm with the natural world. Hunting, fishing, living off the land aren't just things we like to do, it's who we are. And though our lives are inextricably linked to the land we live on, today we've never been more disconnected from it. So join us as we travel across the region, bringing you the voices of the Ozarks, deepen our connection to the land, sharpen our skills in the outdoors, and learn what it means to be an Ozarker. Welcome back to the Ozark Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Veet, joined as always by co-host of the show and my good buddy, Mr. Kyle Plunkett.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I couldn't be better.
What did we just get done doing?
Killing turkeys. We just got done killing lots of turkeys. 6 out of 7 hunters at turkey camp numbers of turkeys.
Wild.
That is right.
Lots of birds.
And we're currently sitting around outside of camp, and we have some stories to tell y'all, so I'm feeling real good.
That's right. This was my first time ever to actually have a true turkey camp.
Same here.
And as you guys know, we talked with Sam Hallam and Bear Newcomb on the podcast just a couple weeks ago. And so we've got them back on the podcast. So welcome back, guys.
Yeah, glad to be here, especially after such a successful turkey camp.
Dude, unreal. We'll get into it. We've got stories to tell. But also, before we jump in, we've also got John Whittinghill with us over here. And we only have 4 mics. And so John is right now off mic, but he's cracking up. He's got a great smile and an awesome mustache. Y'all can see him on the video, but
his mustache looks about like a turkey beard.
Yeah.
It's upside down.
It
turkey
really
beard.
does.
That's right. So we're going to jump into it, but we started off the week, Kyle, you and I, and Jack Barclay, who is also part of our turkey camp, but he's not with us right now because he's actually gone back out into the field. He was the only guy who didn't harvest a turkey in the last 2 days, or 4 days really, since we started.
Mostly our fault, though, because we've asked him to film.
That's true.
He didn't think he was going to get into turkeys.
He really only started hunting today.
Yeah.
This morning.
That's right. So we had a total of 7 guys, and the other person that I have to mention is Cam Tidwell. Cam was up here with us, and he was helping out, and he was just bringing them in. He already got a bird on Monday by himself or with somebody else. He was hunting his own thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so that's the crew. That was who was at turkey camp. But I just let's maybe start with trying to think. Plunkett, who should we start with here to set the stage of everyone sitting here at this circle has managed to take a turkey. Which one do you think should go first?
I think we start with Bear John Newcomb.
Oh, boy.
I agree. I concur.
Oh, boy.
We just kind of go in a circle.
Yeah.
Who was the
Half
first
circle.
one to kill a bird?
You.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
I
it
was.
was.
Well, Cam.
Oh, yeah.
Cam,
Technically,
yeah.
Cam on Monday.
Yeah.
Right.
We didn't know you had killed one because no one said anything.
Yeah, we kept it quiet.
Yeah, so Bear and I thought he was the first one to shoot.
Yeah.
So you actually were first. So maybe you should start.
Okay. Well, since Cam's not here and he got one on Monday, I'll go. So this was my first turkey ever. And man, I've been hunting turkeys for the last 3-4 years. I really can't remember, but just going out and really not making a whole lot of time for it, going out on the weekends, just kind of squeezing it in. It's a short season anyways. And so this was the first opportunity where I was like, man, it's time to just take the week off of work and let's go try to get this done. And so we started off in Arkansas down on private property. And Monday and Tuesday, Plunkett, were pretty rough.
They were hard.
They were tough days. I mean, beautiful mornings, but just not a lot of action, not a lot of birds. And so we had been hearing from our Missouri friends that, hey, you guys just come up here. We're gonna help out. We're gonna put you on some birds.
It's the first time I heard Kyle say, "I can't wait to get out of Arkansas."
Yeah, I did say that.
I want to go kill some birds.
Like, get me to Missouri.
Get out of Arkansas.
So we came up here. We met up with the guys, set up camp, and it was morning one of Missouri, and honestly, or morning one for me up here in Missouri. Honestly, it was just idyllic. Like you could not write a better script for a turkey hunt for me or just for anyone. I mean, we went to a spot that Cam knew about, and we roll in there on public, and as soon as we get up in there, before daylight, just gobbles all around. I mean, the one that was real close to us, we stopped and we were standing in the middle of the road in the dark, and that bird was probably 40 yards away or less. I mean, within shotgun range in the tree. And he was like, dude, this is about to happen. And this is the first time I've actually felt confident of like, I feel like I have a really good chance of killing a turkey. Because in Arkansas, it's just been like trying to run around, strike them up. Even when we've figured out where they were like roosting at, it's just getting close to them is tough on the property that we hunt. And so gobbles first thing in the morning. We go ahead and scoot back a little bit because we're almost too close. And then right after that,
it's a bad problem or a good problem to have.
Yeah.
It's the right problem.
Right after that, that one was just firing. Another one over here was gobbling. Another one to the right was gobbling. It felt like we were surrounded. It was like turkey heaven. And it was a quick hunt. I mean, daylight came up. They flew down. We watched them up in the tree. We finally found them as it got lighter up in the tree. We watched them fly down. They pitched down, and Cam called it. I mean, Cam is an incredible caller. If you guys have ever heard him call on our podcast or another one, dude is just next level. And he got them so fired up. They came in. They weren't on the ground for more than 5 minutes. They walked straight in, right up the road, 20 yards away, popped the first one right in the head, and that was my first turkey.
Dang.
On public. So
how fast did it happen from when you got there to when you pulled the trigger? Or I guess when you started hearing them. How quickly did that go?
So that first gobble was right at 5:45.
Oh yeah.
So and I shot that turkey. We listened to him gobble up in the tree longer than they were on the ground. I think I shot it right at 6:15. So yeah,
awesome.
30 minutes from getting there, hearing the first gobble,
That's fast,
and taking them. So yeah, that was awesome. So this is the fan that I've got, and beautiful mature gobbler, was able to hit it right in the head, so really didn't mess up the fan too bad. And
it's a beautiful bird.
I couldn't be happier with it. And then I didn't really know this, but it was either Sam or Cam was telling me that the spurs, I've obviously never shot a turkey, but the spurs are ivory on this turkey. And I don't know how rare that is, but it seems like it's not the common thing. They're mostly black, right?
Yeah. You don't see it often.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool thing, especially for your first bird.
Yeah.
You gotta add that to your bear tooth necklace.
I should.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Just have 2 ivory spurs next to a bear tooth.
Oh, that would be cool. So yeah, I feel like it was just for me super special to just, I feel like it's been kind of the monkey on my back of like, I've been chasing these. It's been so hard the last 3 or 4 years, just beating myself up, reliving every opportunity that you have.
Yeah.
Like, why did I do that? How did I screw that up again? And so now to finally be like, yes, I finally got one.
The way Cam tells that story is hilarious too. He's like, we'll walk up here and hear a bird. You get up there and he hears a bird. He goes, there's a bird. Sit here.
Yeah.
And you sit there and he goes, point your gun down there.
Yeah.
You point your gun down there, and then as Cam tells it, he goes, Kyle didn't have to move his gun. That turkey walked right into it. It's like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's what you hope.
The perfect hunt was like an accumulation of all your work.
Yeah.
In Arkansas, all kind of manifested in this one hunt.
I'll
where
take it, man.
yeah.
I will take it. All the hard work, made this one. It was like, this is easy.
Yeah, we're
earned
used to
it,
running up
sure.
and down mountains.
Yeah.
So
Up and down.
It was a blast. So I think I got the first one at 6:15, and then I think right after that, was it you? Did you get the
I
next
think
one?
so.
Or
Yeah.
was it John?
Bear shot his probably, I don't know.
650, 655.
Yeah, 650 something is when you shot yours.
Yeah. Well, to follow Kyle's like textbook, perfect, beautiful turkey kill, I'll start. Well, mine got a little scrappy. Okay, so but I went with Sam. Sam had some birds roosted. You roosted them the night before, and this was on private property, and there were these 2 fields that he kind of had it narrowed down to. And so we slipped in there about an hour before daylight.
Yeah.
And we get right where you think this bird is roosted, or the area at least.
Mm-hmm.
And set out the decoys. We get buried in some thick brush. It was a
tight setup.
It was a tight setup, but we made it work.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I had to lean my gun like on a barbed wire fence just to kind of like make it work. But it worked, and we were pretty well hidden. And probably 20 minutes before daylight, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty dark out still.
Yeah, he lights off across the field. Like, it's a big field, and there's a field down below it. Yeah. He lights off across the field down below us, which, wasn't exactly what we were expecting, but it was still a pretty good setup.
Within 150, 200-yard range.
Yeah. And he's just gobbling his head off, like, on the roost. I mean, he just kept gobbling. And, about shooting light, I see him fly off the roost down into this lower field. And he's just gobbling. And Sam starts working with him, starts calling him, and it's kind of matching his energy. He was a real hot bird, just like you talked on the last podcast, reading their temperature. And so you were pretty aggressive with the calling, but he was pretty aggressive with responding back. And, I mean, he just marched right up that hill, or at least it was looking like he was.
Yeah.
And he gets, he kind of like goes behind us a little bit, and you kind of call him back. He circles around, and he gobbles at like 35 yards, and you can see him.
Yeah.
And when he gobbles, I see his head stick out. But, I mean, he was so close, like you feel it. And it just looked like it was all about to just come together. He was about to walk up to those decoys. I was going to blast him. And he kind of like quit gobbling. And then we wait a little while. And then we hear him gobble like way down the hill.
Yeah.
And we were just like, what the heck? We still haven't gotten to the bottom of it, but he boogered at something. And
you don't think he saw you or anything?
We can't tell. Because, he kept gobbling.
Whenever, we'll get to this point, but I had looked at his view where he would have been looking up at us, and we were so tucked in there. I don't think it was us.
It was so thick.
And the fact that he continued to gobble as he walked away, it was odd.
Yeah, that's true.
He just, something he didn't like, something he wasn't super fond of. Yeah.
Did you have a hen decoy?
Yeah.
Maybe he was like, I made it this far, now you follow me.
We put a Jake,
come down the hill, lady.
A Jake and a hen out there, so I'm not certain why he wasn't thrilled with that, but
yeah, it was odd. But we were gonna get a turkey. I could tell by Sam's attitude. We were gonna get a turkey no matter what it took. And so he's like, let's make a move on him. And so we back out of there, and he has a big strutter decoy we call Rico. And he's like, you ever used one of these before? And I was like, nope. Handed it to me, told me what to do, and he said, run out there, set that thing up, and get behind it. And you gotta kind of sneak in once you see him. Stay behind it. And I've never done this before. This is actually my second time to ever hunt private land. First time was last week. And so this is a totally new style of hunting. And so I'm kind of like, going out there trying to figure out what to do with this thing. And I stick it in the ground and I get hidden behind it. And, I'm like crumped up in a ball.
You're like down in the fetal position.
Oh, dude, yeah. And I'm like getting cramps and I'm like having to like lay my head down and then like look up and see what they're doing. And they kind of like disappear for a while. And then I hear one putting off to my left, like real close. I think it must have been a hen or something.
Yeah.
But I kind of, I thought, oh crap, I spooked him. And so I kind of like get turned a little bit. And then I see him back over there. And they're all 3 strutting.
Different birds than the first one.
3 different birds in the first one. And they got across a creek. And they strut at that creek for a while. And they come across it. And they just come right in, that's Cam was telling me like they either run away and they don't come back or they just come right in. Like it's just kind of one of those type of tactics, and they did. And but I'd never done this before, so I didn't know what I was doing. You're supposed to have the gun, up and ready. But I had it, like across my lap because I could, I was like, well, surely they'll see the gun, and anyway, so I was like, well, I'm just gonna have to jump up and shoot one before he can get away. And so I let him get pretty close, and they were all clumped together, so I couldn't shoot. And finally, one broke off to the left, at probably like 10 yards, and I jump up and I shoot it, and they all just go flying everywhere. And I hit it the first time, but it like kind of keeps running, and so I take a like a pop shot again, second time. Also, the shotgun didn't have a bead on it, so I was a little bit.
It didn't have a bead?
Yeah, no.
You're just looking straight down it.
Yeah, and I honestly didn't even notice it didn't have a bead until Sam told me.
The bead, the bead had broken off at some time, and I didn't even realize it until recently. I forgot to tell Bear because he was using my 870, and then we switched again when he went after those in case he needed to. It had a little bit of a tighter choke, but I forgot to tell him there's no bead on it.
He was looking down at it like, oh.
Yeah, and so I totally missed the second shot. And then third shot, it hit him pretty good, and he starts flopping, and I take off running after him. And, like, right as I get to him, he kind of jumps up, and I got to chase him down a little bit, but end up getting him wrangled. And
describe wrangled.
Okay, so I chased the bird, a good 100 yards maybe through the brush.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm right on top of him, but
Sam, you're watching this, right?
I was behind him like 80 yards on this hillside, and
this is what I mean. It gets scrappy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like I was not letting this bird get away, and so chase it down, and then finally it just it gets under fence, and it was pretty tired and was able to finish it off.
Yep.
But yeah, I've It was a little bit of you kind of hate to see him go like that. You'd like to just shoot him and drop him. But
yeah, real clean.
I think it's just kind of the nature of the game is like, sometimes
right.
You got to get a little scrappy. You got to get after him. But yeah, it was my first time doing any type of hunt like that, And I was telling Sam, I feel like it's just good to do all the different variations of turkey hunting to really get a good understanding of the turkey itself. Yeah. This is my first year that I've been hunting out of state, and like hunting birds in all different states. Like I've learned more in the last like 2 weeks than I've just learned a lot. Like my learning has gone like exponentially higher whenever I start hunting birds, different styles with different people, seeing the way that they work birds. And I could tell you, Sam knows what he's doing. I mean, he had that bird dialed, had him roosted, and clearly got everybody else on quite a few birds. So it was a cool hunt.
We had the full mix this week of private ground, public ground.
Yep.
All the different tactics we could throw at them.
Yeah.
It was echoing that.
It was like every card in the deck we were pulling it.
Yep.
We had to.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So for the guys who've been in turkey camps before, the three of you guys, how often does almost everybody get a turkey? Like we got 6 of 7 guys who have a turkey at this point.
I mean I've never experienced something like this.
Yeah, I've never been in a camp like that. No, this is crazy.
We had a good week.
6 birds is
especially
unreal.
in a 2-day span.
2 days. Yeah.
And I feel like it's not like we're hunting easy birds at all.
No.
Like it's not like
I mean it's public that's got a lot of people. I mean we've seen a lot of trucks. We've seen a lot of cars at parking lots. We had one shot out from underneath us Monday on two on public. Yeah, we did that this morning too, and we had one shot right in front of us Monday.
And you did 2 on Tuesday.
Down
in Arkansas.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've actually
Your
had 3.
neighbor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So I
3.
was thinking Joe. I was like, Joe didn't shoot a bird.
No.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'll rope that story in. You're right. I've had a bird a day shot out from under me.
That's
crazy.
wow. Yeah. Yeah, so it's not like it's, this cushy, easy going. I mean, we spent a lot of miles walking, a lot of miles driving, lots of back and forth, glassing, calling, just trying to make something work. But
and you put in a ton of work beforehand getting birds located.
yeah, I mean that was
the work.
That was the work in itself, was driving around and scouting and figuring out where we were going to go, having a game plan before getting here rather than just like getting here and being like, well, the night before, let's decide where to go. Like, we had pins ready to go. We had places picked out ready to go. I mean, we kind of had like everything set. But so when we got here, we could just all fan out in the morning and It panned out.
Yeah, it sure did. We ended up getting, is it 3? Yours was public. Mine was public. John, yours was on public.
John's was on public.
Was Cam's?
Cam's was on private.
Cam's on private. So we had 3 and 3 then.
Yeah, 3
right?
and 3.
3 and 3.
Yep.
That's a good mix.
It is.
That's a good mix. All right, Sam, I want to hear your story.
Bear, were you wrapped up on that one? Or
Last thing to note was it had 3 beards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, add
That's
that.
right.
It was a triple bearded turkey.
Triple
Yeah.
bearder.
It was crazy.
That is pretty cool.
How many total inches?
I think we added up to 13.4. So
Yeah.
he may not have been the oldest, but I killed the most inches of turkey.
That's right. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
All
Did
right.
John kill the next? Are we on an order of kill?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, John killed the next one.
That's right.
Pass the mic
I'm
over
going to
to
pass
John.
this
The mic.
over.
John, welcome to the podcast officially.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, John, you were the third harvester of Wednesday.
Yeah.
Tell me about your hunt and the only solo hunt.
Yeah. Yep. So,
Everybody else was grouped up.
yeah, man, I was left out of the group. A little sad about it, but it worked out. So, I made up for it in camp. So,
Yeah, you did. We like to treat our Oklahoma friends real nice by leaving them by themselves.
there we go. Yeah, we
And
suck,
making us
so
cook all of our meals.
That's what I'm good at, man. So, no, man, my hunt, it was incredible, man. It started out in a little bit of a panic, but I'll start the night before. You know, I got a reference point or a pin, you know, from Sam, and he said, I've heard and seen birds in this area. You know, go to this area and listen. And I just, you know, kind of took that. It took me a minute to kind of figure out where the pin was. Went to the wrong parking lot, had to spin around, and, you know, ended up in the spot, you know, with about 10 minutes of light left, and had some coyotes howling and heard some birds on private, and then one, you know, spouted off right there on public. And I mean, I thought I had a pretty good idea where he was at, and I just sat there and listened for a minute and didn't gobble. And so I hit the owl hoot, and he fired off, man, and got him to gobble real clearly. I was pointed in his direction and just got a really good bead on where he was, and you know, got him to gobble maybe 2 or 3 more times, and then it, you know, got dark and headed back to camp. Went and checked another spot that Cam had sent me a pin on, and just it didn't feel right. You know, there was some signs up and stuff that we've probably discussed that are possibly illegal. You know, posted no trespassing signs and stuff like that on some public ground.
On public land.
Again, I'm not familiar with this area, and so I just didn't want to risk it. So, and I already had a roosted bird, so I was like, man, I'm just going to hit that in the morning, and like I said, we can figure out this other spot later on if need be. And so yeah, I hit the sack and set alarm for 3:30 to get up for the rest of the gang, and I
We've had some early mornings.
managed to sleep through my alarm. So I woke up at 5:13 in a panic.
Oh, no. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So thankfully I woke up, man, and I hit a Jetboil coffee real quick and hit the truck and got on the road. And I mean, I was flying, man. And I got in there probably maybe 5 minutes before the birds started gobbling.
Wow.
And
Perfect timing.
yeah, man, I couldn't have cut it any closer if I tried. So I was getting all my gear on. I took, you know, maybe 5 steps into the woods, and he started gobbling. And so I had a real good bead on where he was, and I didn't feel comfortable getting to where I had decided that I wanted to be. You know, there was a public-private boundary, you know, that this bird was kind of in between, and I was going to try to, you know, get on top of him and get in between where I thought he was going to go. And, you know, it was getting light, and I wasn't comfortable. So I got in about 130 yards from him or so, just, you know, using line distance and stuff on Onyx and on the pin that I had dropped the night before. And I was walking up the hill and had a hen bust off the roost, you know, about halfway through my walk. And she never putted or anything, just, you know, kicked off the roost, kind of flew silent. But I threw out a couple, you know, cuts and stuff just because I figured that bird was in earshot. You know, I didn't want him to hear wing beats and just, you know, think they boogered out of there or something. So I tried to make it a little bit more realistic. But after that, I didn't make a sound. That bird gobbled good, you know, on the roost, and slipped in and got set down and waited for him to hit the ground. And I started calling at him, and he was on like the other side of a drainage. There was kind of a little valley right there. and he just started working up and down this drainage. He, again, listening to Sam and Cam and these guys talk about birds, they usually will pitch up in the morning instead of down. And this bird just went down, and I was like, man, I made a mistake. I should have stayed low. And eventually he just started kind of working his way back towards the top. And I thought he was going to the private, and so I picked my stuff up and made a move. I was in kind of a bad spot and didn't have a lot of visibility, and just it didn't feel real good to me. So I went and found a bigger tree, found a little bit more open spot, where I had probably 25, 30 yards of distance where I could see pretty good for, a clear shot, and got set down. Again, this bird is working back and forth up and down this drainage the whole time, gobbling, and just doing some light calling and stuff. And finally, he wasn't breaking, and so I just tried cutting hard. I was running a diaphragm call and cut hard, and boy, he cut me off and hit it again, and I kept on him, and so he gobbled probably about 6 times, just real hard, one right after the other, and I laid it to him, and then I went quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, if he's just gonna sit there and gobble at me and not move, I'm not gonna waste my breath and keep on him. And again, like I said, he kept moving up and down this ridge, so I shifted my gun probably 5 times, thinking that he was coming from a different way. And
is that real quick? Is that usually kind of the strategy when a bird gets quiet, like back off and get quiet as well? Is that you're trying to match their energy a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. And I knew that bird had heard me, and so I didn't feel like I needed to let him know that I was there anymore.
Right.
And so again, this is I'm not an expert turkey hunter. I've killed my fair share of birds, but I feel like once they know you're there, then you can probably lay off a little bit. And again, like I said, I'm matching that energy. Like if they're tromping in, I'm gonna stop, so that they have to come look for me.
Right.
You're reversing the cycle of nature when you're calling a turkey. A gobbler is gobbling to attract hens to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you're calling as a hen, you're reversing the cycle. And so I feel like if you're responding to the bird as he's gobbling, he thinks like, oh, she's interested in me.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to come to me, and
Right.
he'll stay put.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, again, that's something I've learned over the years, and I screw it up every season. Like I can't help
you have
myself.
to relearn it every year.
Yeah.
It's fun to hear him gobble.
I learned the hard way, man. And so I had done that previously on an Oklahoma public land hunt, and it kind of burned me, and so I was like, not doing it this time. I'm just going to try something different and see if it works. And, man, like I said, I got quiet and just was sitting there and just kind of was texting the guys back and forth. And that bird, he went quiet and quit gobbling. And I was just sitting there and had kind of positioned my gun in the, general vicinity of the last time I'd heard him. And I thought he was kind of working off. And I was like, man, I'm just going to let him, work off, and I'll get on him here on this other side and let him get up into the private and maybe call him back on the public and try to get him. And about that time, man, I thought I heard a drum, and I had some squirrels moving around me and stuff like that. And I was like, I wasn't 100% positive. And then I kind of froze and was listening real intently. And sure enough, I heard it again. Just, here he comes. And I couldn't see him. It was pretty thick. Like I said, I only had about 25 yards of visibility, and I stopped. I froze, and I just started looking with my eyes, and not moving my head, and just I got my gun up. I sit with my gun on my knees. That's something that I've learned, I don't put it in my lap. I don't set it in my feet crossed. I have it when I'm on a bird, like I'm up and ready, and I just kind of I hang on to the butt, and just kind of sit there. And that was a key thing for me, I think, on that bird, because when I saw that bird, he was 30 yards. The first time I saw him, I just seen a big red head pop up, saw a fan come up, his head changed color to white, and I'm like, oh, buddy, he's here, and again, like I said, pretty thick. I had a cedar tree, probably a 20-inch cedar tree in front of me and some brush and stuff, and I had put a hen decoy out, and I was in the timber. I don't normally put decoys out in the timber, but I feel like that kind of helped me out there, and it took his attention, because he had heard a hen and she got quiet, and so he was searching, so he was looking, and so he saw that decoy and he just was strutting. I mean, my heart's sitting here just pounding, and I'm trying to hold it together, and I wait for him to clear the cedar tree, man, and normally I like to get birds to stick their head up, so I can not booger their feathers up and stuff when I shoot him, but man, he was so close. I didn't give him a chance, man. As soon as he cleared that cedar tree and turned facing towards me, I just buried that bead in his neck, man, and let him have it. So, and he fell over. I gave him the old Eddie Salter owl hoot at the shot, and man, the rest is history.
Nice.
So it was a great hunt, man. I mean, it was incredible. Like I couldn't believe it. I was elated. Just a lot of emotion going on there. Me and Sam met, about a week ago on a Oklahoma public land hunt. It's kind of instant friends. We got introduced by Cam and just had a really good camp in Oklahoma, and just now we're buddies, and at least I think we are.
I hope so.
So
that's cool. I'm glad that you came. I didn't even know you were coming. Like, we showed up to camp and it was like, yeah, John's here. And I was like, who's John?
Yeah.
And then it was
Yeah.
like, John's hunting with us, baby. Let's go.
Last minute addition to the camp, and I'm very thankful for it, man. Like I said, I had a lot of emotion. Just again, thankful for Sam's generosity of a drop pin, man. That's super helpful in a new area that you don't know anything about.
Right.
And first time being in the woods, I got just a little bit of background information from him. There's kind of open timber up here. There's a field over here. just kind of looking at stuff. And when I go into new places, I look at topo lines and stuff on a map. So I run the hybrid layer on an Onyx, and just try to find like a little flat or a little deviation in that terrain, and find a good spot. And man, with that information, the pin, the roosted bird, it all came together for a great hunt, man.
Yeah,
and so 705, man, I was tagged out for the first week.
That's right.
So
And then the
great.
three of us, me, you, and Bear, we all met for a celebratory breakfast dinner. And well, Sam was there too because you were hunting with Bear,
Yeah.
and then Cam. But we were like, that was easy. We're done
Yeah.
we're done for the week.
3 birds down within an hour, man. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. So yeah, the Missouri guys, if you guys are super generous with your pins, your locations.
Hmm.
So if you're listening, make sure you text Sam and
Yeah,
ask for a
text
pin.
Sam.
There you
He'll
go.
send you one.
He's got lots of spots,
$100 a piece.
and since he's not on the mic, he can't
Yes,
even
he can't
say
defend
anything.
himself. Y'all
Here,
might hear some
I'll give it
muffled
back
like,
to
yeah,
you.
right, but you can't even tell.
They really, without these guys, it wouldn't have been possible.
No.
So thank you guys. But that's John, way to go, man. That was cool. Just hearing how you thought through that hunt, and
Yeah.
I don't know, just the fact that you were the only one who was doing it by yourself, and you were like, I'm just gonna go do it. I'm gonna get it done.
Came together.
That's right.
Sam,
Yeah, I
you were
mean,
next to kill.
yeah. Several hours later. So just going off of what these guys said, it was a fantastic morning. I mean, a lot of gobbles were heard, a lot of turkeys were seen, 3 were shot. I mean, we were eating breakfast before 8,
Mm-hmm.
and these guys were still out there working birds all morning. So we went back, kind of hung out at camp, and we're celebrating, taking some pictures, just sharing stories, doing the camp feel. And when Plunkett got back and Jack got back, we decided to go, Kyle and I decided to go out and try for an evening bird or an afternoon bird, because now in Missouri, on private ground, you can hunt past 1. You can hunt all day. On public ground, it's still that 1 p.m. cutoff.
The Jack and I rolled in at 1 something because we'd hunted all the way.
They had hunted from start time to end time. They hunted hard. So Kyle and I decided we were going to go check out this permission piece I had gotten access to a couple weeks ago when I was up here scouting and checking on some birds. So, we went up and met with the landowner. He kind of, said he's been seeing turkeys. Just kind of a general statement, seeing turkeys. So we go back around to the backside of this property, park, and we take off in here. And it was afternoon, so we were trying to strike up a hot bird. So we were more so walking and listening, calling every now and then, sitting, waiting every now and then, and we're not stumbling on any sign. We're not hearing any turkeys. We actually busted a hen off of her nest. She had laid down and I think one of us almost dang near stepped on her, and she flew off. And that was the only turkey interaction we had for probably 2 hours. We were out
This
there.
place didn't look like it should have turkeys.
No, it was one of those where I was kind of like, not super hopeful on this one.
Does not look like the public ground we were on or any of the,
it was
the
a
big
lot
farms
of
where you drive by and you're like, there's birds out there in that field. They're
right.
just low, scrubby brush.
no hardwoods.
Yeah.
Just that real rough pasture.
Looked like Texas.
It did. It was very. Yeah,
It was like we just stepped into a different state.
What made you want to hunt it then if you were like not so
It's private ground.
big on the habitat?
Private
yeah,
ground
I
need
mean,
permission on.
the surrounding land, I had seen turkeys on it in the past, lots of times, and I just figured, well, if these guys, I've asked, these landowners, and they had told me no, someone else was hunting it, so I thought, well, I'll check this guy. Like we talked about the last podcast, I'll ask as many people as I can in a day when I'm doing something like that. So he was on the list to ask, and he said yes. So we were checking it out, and it was one of those things where I had gotten in my head like, all right, we're just going to finish walking this property and rule it out. Well, we're doing a big loop of the property. It was a couple 100 acres, and we stumble into this just giant patch of morels. It looked like a morel garden. Like they were just everywhere. So Kyle and I were like, you know what? This trip is not a wash. We're going to go get some morels. So we start picking these morels, and we had to have been probably close to 30 by the time that we heard a gobble. I had bent over to pick up this morel, and clear as day, I hear a gobble.
We were shoving morels in the body cavity of a decoy.
Yeah, so we didn't have any
Anyways.
bags. So
Carry it.
just to the west of us, like where we had started initially, and after the fact, what I had thought was that whenever I was doing my initial calling, these birds had came in silent, and when they got to where we were first, they didn't see a hen, and so they started doing their gobbling to be like, we're here. So I told Kyle, I was like, dude, that was for sure a gobble, and he didn't hear it because I think he had his back turned. He was messing with morels.
Too focused on
the morels. Yeah.
He was mushroom hunting.
Yep.
So I let out a couple soft yelps, and sure enough, wow, the hammer again. And I'm like, dude. So Kyle said, dump the morels. So we pour the morels out, and I know.
Such a shame.
Sacrifices
We had to use the decoy.
I know.
to be made. So
sad.
we get set up, spot one, call again, they hammer, and I'm like, okay, that's 2 birds. And at this point, Kyle had not filled the tag, and neither had I. So they kind of get stagnant in one spot, and this property was thick enough. I thought, we can be a little more aggressive. And Kyle was like, yeah, let's do it. So we move another 50, 70
we were going
yards.
for a double.
Yeah.
We were
so-
like SWAT team through the brush.
Yeah,
We'd step and step.
Kyle had my shoulder, and he was just, step for step with me. We were moving through this scrub brush, and we'd stop and squat and call, and they'd gobble just a smidge closer every time. So they were moving in slow, and we were trying to cover the distance. So we get to the best way I could describe it was almost like a little grove of these locust trees, these real short, top locust trees.
Mm-hmm.
And we got in this brush pile, and they're gobbling good, and they're within probably 100 at this point and closing. But again, there's a slow drop on the other side, and it comes right back up, and they were hung up on the other side. So I told Kyle, all right, I'm going to work up to the left, and I crawled up there. I'm going to work up to the left, try and get them to see this decoy, and maybe they'll break. And calling as I go, and I'm moving to the left, and Kyle's about 15 yards behind me. And I get in this shadows in this other little brush pile, and he's over my right shoulder. Call one more time, gobble, right there. And it was close. It was shaking, like what you were talking about earlier. And then they kind of go silent, and I'm like, oh, I hope they didn't peg me or anything like that. And then I just hear the, and I don't see them yet because it's thick where they're coming from. And I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. And finally, I see the first one. I see his big white head bobbing through, and he's going in and out of strut, walking out. And they're walking in single file line. It was actually 3 of them. And I'm sitting there crouched, and they're closing the distance. And the initial plan was to wait until they came out into this little opening where I thought Kyle had a view from where he was.
Right.
And so what I was going to do is he was going to shoot, and then I was in a good enough spot where I could do cleanup and shoot another one, So a little bit of a communication error. We didn't really talk about the game plan, and I didn't get moved back enough to where he could hear me. I was trying to like whisper, yell at him.
Yeah.
I couldn't see, and then the birds had gotten so close to Sam, I was worried about shooting Sam. I was like, I can't do this.
Right.
Shoot him in the back of the head.
And the whisper yell is only so effective.
Yeah.
Right.
We've all done it. It's like,
Truly.
Yeah.
it's not working.
So I finally decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and shoot this one before it gets right on top of me.
You said you were watching birds for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I was watching them to the point where I'd have to blink the dryness and the water out of my eyes because I was staring at them so hard before I finally shot the first one. And I was hoping when I shot, one of them took off to the right, and I was hoping Kyle could at least see that one, or the one that went to the left would be in an opening. But from where he was and where these birds were, they just happened to be on either side of one little locust scrub brush. So he comes up, we're high-fiving, walk over there and celebrate with the bird and everything. And it was a super fun hunt, a good in-your-face hunt where they gobbled good. You got to call in birds, but also be a little aggressive and move on them. So it was a little bit of best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You got to hear some good gobbles and be active and get the adrenaline going. And it was hot at that point because what time did
3.
About 3 o'clock is when I
Yeah.
shot that bird. Yeah. So
We were proud of ourselves. We were like, we didn't think that was going to work.
yeah, I know it was very very much a surprise, especially with the mentality we were walking out of that place. We were already thinking about our next spot.
Yeah, we were leaving.
Yeah, so that was like on the way out, and thankfully, those Morels really saved us because it allowed us to stop and be in one area at a time and be quiet. And I think it really ended up giving those birds time for us to hear them gobble. Because who knows, if we would have just kept working our way out, we might have bumped them or whatever.
We were walking with a purpose to go get in the truck and go somewhere else at that point.
Yeah.
So
we
probably did.
Any kind of movement like that. I mean, even pushing in close and doing what you guys were doing, like that's tough to do because any kind of movement that they see, they're gonna booger out. Their eyes are just incredible.
Oh yeah. So we were pretty excited about that, and we hunted the rest of the evening with no more luck, and that was about it for my bird, and got him back to camp and got him hung up. Unfortunately, we didn't have all 4 of them hanging because we had to clean the other ones from that morning because
Yeah,
it
it's
did
getting
get
hot.
warm. But with that being said, that was my bird story. So
Yeah.
I'll let
That was day one. So we had 4 birds down.
Y'all show off your fans all together
Oh, yeah,
for day
yeah.
one fans.
It was like I wasn't expecting. You were talking high, praise up here in Missouri, and I was like, I don't know how many birds could they have up there?
yeah,
But sure enough,
pretty birds.
4
Yeah.
in one day.
Yeah, that was the craziest day of turkey hunting
It
I've
was-
ever been a part of.
it was
Me and
pretty
Bear, like,
incredible.
this is nothing like Arkansas.
Yeah.
This is way better.
Did you get your beard on there, Kyle? Did you show that one earlier?
Yeah.
You all had some pretty good ropes.
I should have got my triple
Yeah,
beard.
You got
Bear
your
didn't want to
triple.
put us to shame with
Yeah.
his triple beard.
Thanks for doing that.
Well, the thing was, is like the main beard was quite a bit shorter than y'all's butt.
Mm-hmm. But he had those,
Two
Add 'em
extra
up.
beards on there.
he had those 3 others, or 2 others, excuse me, 3 total.
Where is yours?
He's
So
probably
just
Oh,
in
my
the truck?
truck.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, somewhere up there. But it was a great day. The conditions couldn't have been more perfect.
Yeah,
So
It's a great day.
definitely capitalized on the
Yeah.
opportunities we had.
Yeah, it was an awesome day, and I know my good buddy Kyle here was working hard. He was trying to close the day with getting that 5th bird, and
I came back to camp for 10 minutes to get
Dude.
a granola bar and told Bear, I'm killing a bird
Yeah,
today.
I don't. Did you eat at all until nighttime?
No, I didn't eat till
No.
like 9 o'clock.
You were like up at what 3:30 and back at camp eating your first bite of food at what 9
9 something.
something like that.
He-
Got a
you were
granola
gonna
bar.
kill a bird.
Got a granola bar.
He got a
kept
granola
saying.
bar.
yeah,
Yeah.
And he was so focused in the car, I offered him some jerky, and he was like, nah.
yeah.
Can't even eat.
Plunkett, if I know anything about Plunkett, is he's competitive, and he's like, if I'm gonna do something, I'm doing it today, and we're all gonna do it. Like,
Yeah.
right now. It's gonna happen, and if I'm just gonna manifest it.
And it wasn't for lack of trying. I mean, we hunted all afternoon, chasing, bouncing from spot to spot, listening, calling. I mean, we put, how many miles do we have at the end of the day? 6.5,
Yeah.
something like that. I mean, we walked a lot, drove a lot, checked a lot. So we worked yesterday for him one, but the real success came today.
Today.
So
Yeah,
we got a bird down.
yeah. It's actually
It's the one behind
hanging
us.
behind him.
That's right.
Yeah.
How many hours ago?
Oh, what time is it now?
It is 4:00 on the
Four.
dot.
It's 5 hours ago.
5
Yeah.
hours ago.
Nice.
All right.
Or 5.5 hours ago, somewhere in there. Yeah, my story's it's fun because same with Kyle. First bird, first turkey.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have killed turkeys by now, but I never did turkey hunting. So this is a new thing for me. And I've learned more in the last week than I ever thought was possible on turkeys. I thought turkeys, like people talking about how they're hard, I thought it was kind of a joke. Like I thought it was the same types of people who would go like, oh, I only hunt public ground because I like the challenge. But they're just good hunters. Like I thought it was that mentality of you tell people it's hard, but really you sit in a blind and they roll out to a decoy and you shoot them.
Yeah.
That's not the case, everybody. Y'all know that. People who do that. But
especially around here. Like
some Ozark birds. But Arkansas birds are tough. And so had some encounters at home before getting up here and spooked off some birds that were spitting and drumming behind us because Joe and I we're trying to double. We're trying really hard to double.
We didn't even mention Joe. Joe was with us.
Yeah, he counts as part of turkey camp.
Yeah, he was the
turkey
Arkansas
camp part
turkey
one.
camp. Yeah.
And spooked those off, trying to get to them, calling birds in the morning, only to have them shot by the neighbor right across the line.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. So I roll into camp, similar attitude as Kyle's, like, get me out of Arkansas. Let's go to Missouri, see what happens. And based on the morning that I had, I actually start with roosting, but I thought, like, guaranteed done deal. Like, it's never been more set up for me to get a bird on day one. We roll in, that evening, Tuesday evening. Is that right?
Yeah.
Tuesday evening. We go roost. Jack and I, again, get a Sam pin. Thank you, Sam. You've really outdone yourself here on this week, man. He's like, hey, here's a spot. I've scouted it before. There should be birds in it. He's like, go roost one. So Jack and I roll up there, and as we're hiking to the spot that he had pinned, the sun's really starting to set, and we start hearing gobbles. Like, all right. So I'll hoot a couple times, and this turkey just keeps going. And he does it so often for the roosting time that I'm able to place a pin, and then he does it again, and I move it a little bit. He does it again, I move it one more time, and then he keeps doing it there, and we're like, he's right there. Like, we know where he is. So we back out, and our plan was to get up really early, beat everybody to that public spot, be the first one in the parking lot, and then get up there. And, man, Jack and I were set up in the spot that I wanted to be, looking at the tree that I wanted to be looking at, because I was convinced he was somewhere in those kind of grove of hardwoods. And no sooner does 55 roll around and that bird starts hammering. And then a bunch of birds around him too. So it's gobbles all over. We hear him fly down, and then we hear him gobble a lot, but never walking, never strutting, never really moving. Like, he'd move a little bit, but never came in. He was on a piece of private that butts up to the public. And we were right on the line, because at the line there was just enough of a clearing that I felt good about getting a decoy out and kind of letting him walk in. And we sat there from, 5 to wait until about 6 for the gobbles to start, because we got in there early. From 5 until about 9, we didn't move an inch. And every time I'd yelp, he'd gobble. And I got to where, kind of like you, John, I was like, I'm gonna quit for a while, and I'd quit, and he'd gobble. It's like, all right, he's right there, but I can't make a move on this bird. I can't get above him,
right? Because
everything above me is private ground.
Yeah. And
so we eventually, I look back at Jack, I'm like, I'm actually just tired of messing with this bird. We're gonna go do something else. Like, I keep hearing him back this way. I'm sick of this one. He was like, you don't lead birds to find birds. I was like, well, he's not coming to us.
Like, I'm leaving.
Yeah, we can't go to him. It's illegal, and so we're gonna go find a different bird. And so we walk out, and we start hearing some other gobbles kind of up higher on the ridge. It's like, man, we're gonna get up there and see what's going on. And get up there, and at the top of this hill is really a mountain. The private that I was worried about before that bird was roosted and then gobbling continues on for a large chunk of this property. And now we're kind of on the western side, I guess, and it's like hardwood public land and then beautiful, pristine, green rolling pasture of this farmer's property, right? And I'll be darned if it wasn't the bird that we'd been messing with plus 5, I'm not kidding, of his buddies. Every one of them longbeards, every one of them ropes, I mean, hitting the ground.
All in a group.
All in a group at the top of the ridge, 300 yards away, gobbling their heads off. I mean, would not quit. And they were far enough away that with the binoculars, we'd watch them, they'd extend their neck and you'd watch their mouth open. And then the sound would hit you. I mean, it was probably not that long, but it felt like in your binoculars, all right, you see them, then it's the gobble.
Yeah.
And
They're a long way away.
I looked at Jack and I said, I'm going to call those birds over here. And he's like, no, you're not. It's like, yeah, I am. Go get the decoy.
Are you guys noticing a trend with Plunkett? He's like, I want to do something. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Just determination, I guess. I was like, I'm gonna call the birds, and he was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Go grab the decoy because it's right down the hill. I'm gonna stand here. I pulled out the slate call, and I'm making the loudest, raspiest, obnoxious yelps that I can. I mean, cranking on that thing.
Yeah.
And every time gobble. They turn and they start coming, and now I'm like, all right. Let's get the decoy.
What time of day was this again?
10 o'clock. Yeah, 10 o'clock. So we'd made some moves and started hearing some gobbles. There's some waves behind us.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah, sorry, audio listeners. And
we're in Florida.
yeah.
That's where the pins are.
Yeah. Florida, Missouri.
Thanks, Sam. I'll send you a pin in Florida.
Turkey roosted over here.
Send you a pin. It's the interstate.
And every time they gobble, they turn, they start coming. So we're thinking, cool, we can get the decoy set. Maybe we can find a little. So the fence line is also covered in cedars. And I was hiding in the cedars, so I felt good about just standing there watching. And the thought was maybe we can get a decoy just on the other side of the fence. We can get them all the way to it and then make one out of the 6 commit to going under the fence to getting the decoy or close to it. Maybe we can just all we need is one.
Yeah.
Just get one out of the 6. And I stand there and for probably 25 minutes work these birds from 300 yards all the way to 35 yards. So they're strutting in front of me.
Interesting.
They're gobbling their heads off. They're, trying to figure out what I am, what's going on, all that kind of stuff. And up to 35 yards.
And how long did you say it took for them to close the distance?
About 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they just wouldn't come across the fence.
Wouldn't come across.
Dang.
And I just was not even going to think about it. I'm sitting there just watching them going, just somebody somebody commit, come across. Wasn't going to happen. So I try to make a move with them, actually way too close. But I felt good with the cedars and kind of the coverage I had of taking the Jake decoy that I didn't have set up and working it like down the hill to make it visible to them if they were to see down the hill. And I know we don't, birds don't like to work downhill, but I'm thinking maybe the Jake will take one of them off. They didn't want the hen, maybe this one will work. So as we're getting over there, I'm setting it up. I'm actually on the phone with Jack because Jack was now hidden way back in the brush. And I was like, all right, I'm going to try and figure this out. And I hang up because one of those birds had gotten just right on me. And never putted, never really acted worried, just kind of strolled off and the rest followed him, all in strut, all gobbling, all doing their thing. And they went down and around and we tried to cut them off again by making a huge wide circle and jumping up on the other ridge, across the river. We're stick a decoy on this side. Maybe they'll come in here. We annoyed them enough. They just rolled off and they were done. Mm-hmm. And so that was the morning. And then we hiked out. It was about 1 o'clock at that point. And we get to camp and y'all had dead birds. And I was thrilled. I was also like, I should have killed a bird today. I want to go kill a bird. So I was sitting there thinking, how can I kill a bird? Because I know Sam wants to kill a bird too. And we can't hunt now on public, but we can maybe hit private. And I was sitting there thinking through how to ask Sam for some of his private permission and if that'd be okay.
Yeah.
And
when you came back to camp and you saw that, we all 3 had birds, and you were like, "What the heck?" We're like, "What was your thought when you saw that we had birds and you still hadn't had one yet?"
My thought was, I'm gonna kill a bird today.
Yeah.
That determination.
I'm going to round out camp.
We're doing it.
I'm gonna kill a bird today.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there thinking about how do I call Sam and ask, and Sam rolls up and goes, "Let's go kill a bird." So jump in the truck. We go have that story.
Mm-hmm.
Find more birds in that private field, the same one that I had been staying off of the whole time and had birds around. But we ended up calling that landowner and getting permission. And the thought for this morning was, well, that seemed like the spot. There's birds all over it. Let's just go hunt that tomorrow. It's not a public bird, but it's great. It's beautiful. It's a lot of birds. Let's do it. So we set up this morning, and we didn't make it, I don't know, longer than an hour and a half before we left.
Dude, it was such a strangely quiet morning compared to yesterday. didn't really gobble on the roost, and then
Gobbled once on the roost.
when they hit the ground, it wasn't even like a courtesy gobble. They wouldn't even
Wouldn't do
they
anything.
wouldn't even let us know where they were.
One got shot.
Oh yeah, we did
Heard a
hear a shot on the public actually.
Yeah, on the public.
Yeah.
I tried to put a stalk on some birds that I saw way far away, just crawling through the grass, and coyote came and chased those off.
Dang.
So then I was just feeling real down and was thinking, it's going to rain tomorrow. Our chances are kind of today. Today's it. Today's the day I got.
If you're listening, you got to keep in mind too, like the last 2 days feel like 4 days
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
longer because they've just like the stories that you're telling. I feel like they happened 3 or 4 days ago, and it just seemed
Yeah.
like every time you'd go on a hunt to a new spot, something would not go your way,
Yeah.
and it was like,
It was-
Plunkett is trying so hard. I hope he can get a bird.
Yeah.
We were eating dinner last night. And I said, yeah, today has felt like 8. It's felt like 8
Yeah, I feel like
days.
my mind categorized it in
Yeah.
3 or 4 different
Think about how much
days.
new information you're taking in, though.
Yeah.
And how,
Yeah,
what that
it's
does to your
true.
brain. It like slows down time.
I think
true.
every hunt started feeling like a different day.
Yeah.
It really like divided everything.
Yeah.
Truly.
Bear and I's hunt yesterday morning, it felt like at least 3 days ago.
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
I
totally.
couldn't even believe that was yesterday.
Yesterday morning.
Like saying that we've been in camp for a day and a half, I feel like we've been here
Forever.
the majority of a week.
I know.
It's also
yeah.
what happens when you sleep for about 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, 2 nights.
Yeah. So Sam and I are thinking we're going to jump on this private
Mhm.
farm. It's going to be sweet. Yeah, the one courtesy or no courtesy gobbles, gobble on the roost. One gets shot. I got put a stalk on one. Coyote chases them all off. And now I'm thinking, okay, we've met, like early stuff hadn't happened. At least we have like the 10 o'clock hour.
Mhm.
But between now and then, I don't just want to go do nothing. I don't want to sit at camp. I don't just want to sit in the woods not hearing birds because we were not hearing birds. And so we get out and we go look at other places. No birds, calling, nothing. As we're driving back to camp to use the restroom and grab a water, we see a bird on another permission farm that Sam has. And he's like, all right, we're going to stalk this one. We're going to make it happen. And I'm not good at that. I'm not good at doing that. I told Sam at one point, because I spooked a bunch of them off, like, I about passed out. I was crawling around and I'm dehydrated. I'm hungry. I got dizzy. He's like,
Yeah.
what happened? I was like, man, I've never even killed a bird the normal way. Like, I don't even know I'm supposed to kill him this way.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know how far my gun can shoot. Like,
Plus-
I patterned it, but I don't know.
Spot and stock. Like you're pretty big dude to just be crawling through the grass. Like
It's not a big decoy.
Oh.
felt like a coyote with a shotgun. So we finally get back to camp, and Sam was like, take 10 minutes and just sit down, eat a granola bar, drink a cup of coffee.
eat some food.
Yeah, and
I
like
said, you need a break.
let's go get back in the game. Here's how determined I am. I thought 10 minutes sounds like too long. Like,
Yeah, he was ready.
We don't have time.
we don't
for
have
that.
time. It's time to
Admit.
kill a bird. So I sit there and I'm hanging out, and we roll back out. And 10 o'clock at this point, we think there should be birds around. Should be great. And we still have time technically on public land because it's not 1 o'clock yet. So we were driving around a bunch
Yeah.
of different spots, trying to see like what the truck pressure looks like and if we could hear birds. And we roll into the same parking lot that Jack and I had parked at to go hunt the birds the first morning, just yesterday morning, believe it or
And
not.
we almost didn't even
And
do that.
yeah,
We just
And-
kind of on a whim. I thought,
like why
no,
not?
let's just turn.
Let's
in
go
here.
try it.
Yeah.
So we turn and we jump out of the truck. Actually, Sam says, I'm going to roll up the windows and lock the truck because we're going to hear a gobble. And he
I
kept
kept-
saying, when you kill a bird.
Yeah, I kept telling him. Anytime we talk about it, we'd be driving. I said, okay, so when you kill a bird, we're gonna go do X, Y, Z. Or when you kill a bird, I never said if. I just was always telling him when because
Keeping it positive.
I was trying to
Positive
keep him.
affirmation.
Yeah.
You know,
He was getting frustrated.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
just kind of keep him going.
So we get out of the truck and it's instant gobbles. And like right off the parking lot, which is kind of rare.
Yeah.
And at one point, we've heard one gobble. They couldn't tell where it was. Sam goes left, I go right. We're standing at different parts of the parking lot. And we hear another gobble, and we both are pointing in opposite directions when we turn and look back at each other.
I
So
mean,
we're
it was
both pointing in
simultaneously
complete
like that,
opposite directions.
and he's doing that, and we're like,
Who was right?
Me.
He was. He was actually right.
There
yeah.
you go.
But that was funny. And then it's like, well, let's just sit here and confirm. So we turn our ears the other way, where you can kind of pick what's going on, and we hear him. Sam gets a call, starts really going, and these birds are just.
At that point, like after they had started gobbling, I started really calling hard at them, cutting up real aggressive. And then at that point, anytime I'd call, it was like they'd cut me off. They're ready to go. That ignited the fire, and they were like, all right.
So we had a pretty good idea where they were, and it was like, let's move quick. We got to throw our stuff on, grab the gun, and get over to where we can be at the top of this ridge and get them. We'll be at the same level then. We can get them over. And so we're moving, and
so quick that I tripped.
Yeah, jumped over the wire to come get his stuff on and face planted. And man, we're going up the road, and we don't go 100 yards before we're walking up, and I'll let you take it from there, Sam, because your point of view is actually more fun.
Yeah,
you saw him.
So we're sitting there, we're walking up the road, and I'm like, okay, before we get too close to where I think these are, let's kind of step over to the left. I was going to call one more time and just hear where they were so we could base our decision off that. And as we kind of step into the shadows, I look up, and in the road, I just see two bright red heads pop up. And I just say, shoot them. And Kyle, he slings his gun off his shoulder, but it like gets
stuck on my turkey vest.
It gets stuck on his
How
vest.
far away was this that you saw them? Like,
far enough that if I was by myself, there's no chance I would have taken a shot.
Yeah.
Like, truly.
And he was like, shoot him.
He said, shoot him.
What?
Yeah.
And I said, can I? He goes, yeah, shoot him. So I shot.
Yeah, so I do one of these, plug my ear because I'm right next to him, and he shoots, and he didn't realize there was two.
I thought there was only one.
Yeah.
I saw one.
Okay.
I put the beat up. We're standing in the middle of the road. I'm standing like anybody would just stand, and I'm holding my gun freestyle.
Yeah, I mean, he free-handed it, just standing straight up.
And
Dang.
I saw the
super
one
impressive.
red head, and I saw him move like a little bit to the left to try. I imagine turn and get away.
Mhm.
And that little bit of movement was all I needed to feel really good about where that was going. Let it rip.
Yeah, and he did, and one flies up, and the one I was watching that he shot at, I see it flip over backwards, and I was just like, thank goodness. But he is like, he flew off. Like, he's thinking he missed
I thought I
it.
missed.
You
I
thought
thought
you
there was one bird, and he took off flying.
You
Yeah.
saw the one flying away.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, dude, you hit him. And so we go up running up there, and I'm like, run up there, and my peripheral, my left eye, I just see this streak, pew, like going right by me, and it was Kyle. He's sprinting up to his bird, and
He was dead.
yeah, I mean, he's deader than a doornail, and you smoked him. So that was super cool to watch, and needless to say, all the stress, and,
All the drama.
and the heartbreak, and
Yeah.
the close calls, it all kind of like boiled over right there, and it was a super cool experience.
Yeah.
It made it so fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've learned more in the last like 18 hours of turkey hunting, and I've encountered more birds. I've probably seen 40 birds in 2 days.
Yeah.
And had chances on them and heard them and found them, and I don't know. It's been nuts. Not all gobblers, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Just turkeys in
just
general.
turkeys
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah.
So
It was worth
sweet.
all of the long days.
I wouldn't trade it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
We
great.
gave it, going off what John said. John can't talk right now, but we gave it the same Eddie Salter.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Couple of times.
A couple of times, and then the second gobbler that he was with gobbled at us doing that way off.
Oh,
no
really?
way.
Yeah, we were celebrating just.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then he just hit, like off in the distance, you hear like, wow.
That's
He's
awesome.
probably like, you got Carl.
Finally.
Yeah.
You guys said.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, that is so fun. I'm glad it paid off. I'm glad that the hard work just came to fruition for you there.
It's awesome.
So let me ask you this now. I want to kind of go back around the table and ask a lesson learned or a high and low for each of you, whether it's turkey hunting, turkey camp, a funny story, anything like that. So we'll go in reverse order. Plunkett, I'll come to you first.
I learned you can call a bird in from much further than you think you can.
Yeah.
Because I never would have actually thought I could call those birds from 300 yards away, but they heard it and they sure did come. So even those distant gobbles, like you got a chance on them. You
Yeah.
could probably move on them, but you got a chance.
Yeah. What about a high and low?
Low was this morning after not killing yesterday when I all but promised Bear I would. and
You did
not hearing
promise.
not hearing any gobbles.
Set the record straight. You
Yeah.
did.
And
Were you-
and
were
then
you,
high
like,
was the
How
bird.
how low were you? Were you like, man, I'm just about to give up?
I
You
don't
probably
know.
never got to that.
I don't know if I got that low, but I got low enough that I was thinking like, how am I going to explain to my wife that everybody else killed a bird?
Took off a
And-
week of work.
Yeah, and then I saw all of these turkeys, and it didn't happen. Actually, the low was when I saw Mara sent me a video of our daughter in her car seat at 9:45, and she's like, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she said, "Daddy, I'm so excited for you to get home so I can see the pretty turkey you're going to bring me." I was like, "Oh shoot, I got to go get this done."
That was fuel.
Yeah, it was fuel. I was like, "Oh, what if I can't?" You can't let yourself spiral there. So
Yeah.
That's good.
it's funny. It's a lot of drama for a turkey. Like, is it a big deal if I don't bring it home? Not at all.
No,
Yeah.
just a big bird.
Just in your head, you put all this work and time into taking a week off of work and going to doing it. You want to get it done.
Yeah.
Sam, coming to you. High.
Sure.
Let's do high and low first.
High and low. The high would probably be watching all you guys shoot turkeys. That was so cool to me. Bear and Ice hunt was awesome. It was a super pretty morning. It was
Yeah,
a
it was.
hard gobbling bird. That was really fun. Just being able to adapt, and make it happen. And then watching Kyle shoot a turkey, but not only a turkey, his first turkey ever after grinding it out for, it was like hours straight, and sleeping was just almost like a little break. We just took like a small 4-hour break, and then we were back at it again.
Exactly right.
So that was really fun. And then obviously I'm very thankful that I was able to shoot one too. And the low for me it probably wouldn't have been during our camp, but Monday and Tuesday, the first few days of my Missouri season, they were tough. And I was kind of getting a little down, man, I had this expectation, and expectations obviously are what I was going to say about one thing I've learned about, but I'll touch on that in a minute. That I would be tagged out so I could just focus on everybody else.
You also had some car trouble going on.
Yeah,
Like,
a bunch of other stuff happening at the bad time. So it was like, oh my gosh, now I still don't even have a turkey. So that was the low, but we got over the hump. And I guess for what was the other
lesson learned.
Lesson learned was just not to get super frustrated about stuff, and not to have these preconceived notions going in, and just to be a little more fluid, as opposed to being expecting X, Y, and Z to happen, because nothing ever happens besides your hunt.
Yeah, I was noticing as you guys were telling your stories, I was like, mine was a very clean and short story.
Yeah,
It was just like,
yeah.
we went out, we did what we thought we
Right.
were going to do, and I was done. And then I just watched you guys run around.
Yeah, and then having expectations, I think sometimes takes away from what we're out here doing, because you can't. It's hard to enjoy the moment when you're expecting it to go one way, because if you have these expectations, even if it happens, if it's not happening the way you expect, you still subconsciously are like, oh, I wanted it to happen that way. So just going in, open-minded about stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's something I could have done a little bit better on the first couple days, but like I said, got over the hump, and it was awesome.
Yeah. It's hard to learn. You can't learn those things until you experience it. You
Yeah.
kind of do it the other way.
Right.
And you're like, oh, yeah, I could have done that a lot
Yeah.
better.
Sure. Exactly.
John, let's pass it over to John. John, for you, high and low. Obviously, I feel like we can all say our highs were our turkeys. Everyone's probably going to say killing the bird. But for you, let's just talk a high and a low for you for the week.
Yeah, man, I think a high for me. I've got a couple of them that are short, but obviously watching two first time kills, man, that fires me up. And I've been turkey hunting since I was probably 6 years old or so, and killed a fair amount of birds. And man, I just get more excited about people killing them than I do these days. And granted, I like killing turkeys just as much as anybody, but to see that fire and that excitement and the story, I could sit here and listen to y'all tell that same story 5 times, and I'd be grinning ear to ear every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to see you guys do that, and real happy for the success you guys had. But ultimately, I think my all-time high for the camp is just for a group of guys to come together that I have really never met most of y'all. I've run around Bear at some events and Sam last week, but to come into camp, and obviously I knew Cam, but to come into camp with essentially strangers and just instantly click, and there's no drama, there's no fussing, no fighting. Everybody's working as a team, to try to come to the goal of killing some turkeys and just sharing some good conversations and sharing meals. That's what it's about for me these days, and just building relationships. Like I was telling Sam, it's just enjoying the ride. If you kill a turkey on top of it, that's a cherry on top. And I get a lot more out of just the relationship aspect of it and spending time in the woods with people I like to be around. And, frankly, just loving on people and serving them as best I can. And that's what gets me going these days. I really enjoy that. So I really don't think I had a low other than maybe, just I definitely was feeling the pressure for Plunkett here. I know what that feels like, man. And obviously Jack, the other guy in camp, I want people to have success so bad that I carry that too. So that's probably my low, but I have confidence, the lessons learned, through the week, these last couple of days has made each of us better turkey hunters and woodsmen. And I think I have full confidence that y'all are going to get it done in the future. And like I said, for Jack, get him on a first time bird, I feel like you guys could probably do that for him now that kind of what's up. So I think we got a camp full of killers, man. It's exciting.
That's right. That's right, man. I dig it. All right, Bear, coming to you.
I think high. I mean, obviously killing turkey.
Right.
That's a big high. But I also think, I agree with John. This was a pretty vibrant camp, like the turkey camp itself was definitely one of the more exciting ones I've been to.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, being around you, Sam, and Cam, and really learning, and John, really learning the turkeys a little better, I think was before camp, I was looking forward to that just because you learn so much. But yeah, I think the bird, seeing everybody kill their birds, hearing the stories, but just the camp in general was definitely one of the better camps I've been to. But as far as logos, I honestly can't really think of one.
It was a good week. It was
a good week.
I'm with you. And we both got it done like super early, so we didn't really have
the pressure
was
was kind of off. Yeah, but maybe this morning, we had some trouble getting a bird, but I don't think there was any real low.
Yeah. I would say mine's the same. It's like my low was, we were hunting with Jack this morning. We were trying to get Jack on his bird.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, stuff was happening and we found a way to, things don't go right and things go wrong. And you're like, man, we want to get Jack on this bird. And so it's like, it goes sideways, but it's not really necessarily your low, but you feel that.
No, yeah, it's just disappointing.
Fellow hunter.
Yeah, yeah.
What about a lesson learned for you?
Okay, lessons learned. I would say aside from just more of the nuances about turkey hunting, I would say big lesson learned. Know your gun, shoot your gun beforehand, practice with your gun. It's not, I maybe had a little bit of a mindset of just like, you just kind of, it's a gun. You just pick it up and shoot
shotgun.
it. Your bow, you got to shoot all the time, but your gun, it's a shotgun, you got that big of a range. But I've learned this trip, the last couple of trips that I've been on, the last couple of weeks, you really need to know your gun and shoot it and be really familiar with it and, practice with it. Not as much as like a bow, obviously, but, practice with it enough that you can really be confident. And whenever the adrenaline's pumping, that you'll just kind of default to that. Just same thing every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one.
What about you?
Man, kind of similar to y'all. The camp was so much fun. I've never been a part of a turkey camp, so getting to hang out with you guys, and we've all gotten to know each other through some way, whether it's you just in interviews like Sam and Cam and Bear, just through being in the same kind of world, and John meeting you just at the camp. Like, it was just fun to share that. And this is my, as far as hunting camps go, largest group. Like even deer camp, we've done like 2 or 3 guys. At least for me, I didn't grow up going to big deer camps or anything like that. So just getting to share stories and hear y'all and learn from you guys as you guys were talking about your hunts and what was happening and what you were doing and why you thought about it that way, what your strategy was. That was fun, and just knowing that like I have a better chance of success in the future going turkey hunting because of what I learned in the last couple, 2 days, 2-3 days. That's a high for me, and of course, taking my first bird was a super, super special and unique thing for me. So that's my high, and then low. I had to sleep right below Jack Barclay, the other guy in camp. We thought it was going to rain last night, so we were sleeping in hammocks, and I was just smushed under him under this rain tarp. And I swear my nose was like 2 inches from the back of his head.
I see him laughing up there.
So that was my low. Somehow managed to get a little bit of sleep.
Y'all woke me up when you were laughing about that last night.
At least it was his
early
head,
to get some sleep.
So.
He was like,
And y'all were dying.
he's like, I can hear you breathing. Sorry, I'm gonna have to breathe tonight. But yeah, that and just the days where it was like, gosh, this is so hard. Monday and Tuesday, I felt like the week was just going in the direction that it's gone the last 3 years. It was just like gonna hear some birds, but not gonna close the deal.
Yeah.
And then things changed real quick when we got up here. So that was fun. As far as lessons learned, I think for me it was just more like tactical turkey hunting stuff, and really learn. Like Sam, I remember you talking about reading the temperature of the bird, really understanding what that actually means, right? Like when that bird is hot and fired up, engage with it, be hot and fired up with it. Cam, when he was calling those gobblers in, I didn't even say this, when they were walking up the hill, there were 3 gobblers coming up all at the same time, and he was doing some kind of call that just got them going. And then when they got going, like the 3 others or 4 others that were further off, they all got going, and just playing with different tactics and different calls and things like that. Being patient, sticking in a spot. Like Bear, when our hunt today, we had that shot and we missed the shot on our hunt this morning. But then knowing that we can stay in this area. It didn't screw everything up. But they're going to be coming back around, all the other ones that we heard, because we were calling early and things like that. Just kind of putting those pieces together that I've heard and talking to guys like y'all, but really seeing it and putting boots on the ground and getting that firsthand experience. Those are the lessons that I'll take forward, and I think will make me a better turkey hunter for sure.
Definitely.
So, after hearing all of your stories, I've got a few awards for the week, some camp awards. So I'm gonna go around the circle, and
It's like summer camp.
Yeah. Most improved goes to so this is a big one because everybody loves the camp chef, the camp cook, and kind of the Papa Bear who takes care of everybody at camp. And so the award is the camp cook and the solo champion, and that goes to Mr. John Whittinghill.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Some absolute money bison Philly cheese steaks.
Oh my gosh.
What was it?
Here, I'll let John talk about the cooking for a minute.
Yeah, so we rolled with the I call them like cowboy sandwiches. It's kind of I like to cook, so I got a lot of cookbooks and stuff like that, but it's a Pioneer Woman recipe. I think she calls it like a Marlboro Man sandwich. So it's a lot of butter, a lot of peppers, onions, mushrooms, and then like cube steak. So slice all that up and hit it on the Blackstone and toast some buns and throw down. So
The steak was
pretty good.
bison or buffalo.
Yeah, bison, yeah.
Yeah, we ate good,
Sounds
and
good,
then Bear brought some. You cooked for us too. You brought some.
Did a little chefing up today with some mountain goat, black bear. I'm pretty sure it was Arkansas black bear.
Okay,
There we
the
go.
mountain goat was from
Alaska.
Alaska.
Yeah, we mixed and matched and made some pretty good tacos.
That was good.
Excellent.
Y'all did some fried turkey bites.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
we
That
had
was
some-
John again.
We had some crappie on Mondays. We've had crappie, turkey, bison, mountain goat, bear,
and freeze dried.
and a couple free meals.
There we go.
Wow.
This is good. This is good eating.
We didn't starve.
No, we didn't. Okay, the next award goes to the award is the Stealth Master and the Beard Dragger. and that goes to none other than Mr. Bear Newcomb.
Oh, nice.
Bear
I'll
had,
take it.
Bear had
Fitting.
with the triple beard, had the longest beard in camp, and with him curling up in a field in the fetal position, I think he deserves the Stealth Master Award.
But
Yeah.
you said Stealth Master and what?
Beard Dragger.
Beard Dragger.
Beard Dragger.
Those are some good titles.
Okay.
Should put those in big-
congratulations, Bear.
That's fair. Yeah,
Put
it's
that
time
in your
for Bear.
Instagram bio.
Yeah, I'm going to put that in my bio.
Yeah.
Can we give you a vinyl maybe to stick on the back of your truck?
Yeah, you bet.
Stealth Master.
Okay, this next award goes to I'm calling it the politician and also / the most aggressive turkey hunter, and that goes to Sam Hallam.
Sam Hallam.
Sam has a way, the politician, because he has a way of getting permission on these private pieces that I've never seen anyone be able to do. Like, you just
It's
know
unreal.
you know how to
It
talk
is
to people
unreal.
and get permission and you do it in a genuine way too. Like, you're actually invested in a relationship with them, and it's not like I'm showing up on the day and I'm asking, can I hunt that turkey in your field?
Mhm.
You've been like working at this. And the most aggressive, I just feel like you are really good at knowing like when to push and when to back off. And I tend to lean more to like, I should just sit here and be still. And you're like, I think we can push this. This is what it sounds like. I didn't actually get to hunt with you, but
Right. Right.
Yeah, Sam likes to get it done. That's what I learned about hunting with Sam is he's going to kill that turkey.
Find a way.
You know that's
Yeah.
true when it's 7:30. He's like, we haven't heard any more gobbles. We're getting. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right.
yeah.
Well, you know, and especially it's one of those things where it's like limited time, limited space.
Yeah.
We got to find a way to capitalize on what we've been given to deal with rather than, you know, because like you hunt differently based on situations you're in.
Right.
You're not going to hunt the same here as you would back home on your own place when you have all the time in the world to go
Yeah, like a
before
couple day
work or after work.
camp.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
A lot of it's public land. It's
Mhm.
kind of just run and gun.
Yeah, like boots on the ground, put your nose down, like let's go.
Yeah.
We're gonna find a way to make this work.
Yeah.
Our next award goes to, and he's not here. This one goes to Mr. Cam Tidwell, and that is the Gobbler Whisperer. Just the way that he came into those calls, the sequences he was doing, he was making noises I've never heard of. And granted, I'm not a long-time turkey hunter, but he just got those gobblers fired up. To hear 7 or 8 gobblers just firing off all at once, just big props to Cam. So
It's pretty
Cam,
awesome.
Cam, if you're listening, thank you. You won the Gobbler Whisperer. The next award goes to well, the award is the Manifest Destiny Award / the Hard Charger /
Best
the
Destiny is
/ the
hilarious.
Don't Give Her Upper, and that is Mr. Kyle Plunkett.
Thank you.
Clap it up,
Really
for
nice.
Fun stuff.
Kyle.
Manifest
nice.
Destiny is a pretty good award.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You I was feeling for. I was wanting you to pull it off, and you made it happen.
I appreciate it.
And
Good
then,
hunting partner.
I've got one more, and this he's up at camp. I'm looking at him right now, but I've got an award for Mr. Jack Barclay, and I'm Jack. Where you at, Jack? We want to get him on here.
Hey, Jack.
Jack, come down here. We got something for you. You get an award. Come hop on a mic. Jack just got back from. He was like, I'm gonna try to go get a turkey by myself.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
ran solo.
Yeah. And so Jack, come in, scoot in here. I'm gonna scoot over. First, Jack, did you get a turkey just now?
No, I would have come brought it.
Put your mic down here.
I did not get a turkey. I would have come slapped it right in front of
Right.
you guys, just like we planned.
We decided if you did roll in with a turkey, we were all going to stop podcasting and throw you in the lake.
Throw you in the lake.
Yeah, swinging
I
style.
wish. That would have been too fun.
Yeah.
We're going through awards here, and because you just got back to camp, I wanted to award you the most improved player of camp and also camp glue.
Hey.
Jack is probably although we have several kind of greenhorns, like we've not killed turkeys. Jack hasn't either, but Jack was coming in not knowing very much at all about turkey hunting,
Mm-mm.
and was just getting all of downloading everything, learned a ton. I feel like even from the day that we hunted on Monday to today hunting together this morning, it's like you got a lot better. You got a shot at a gobbler, like you were in the position
Yeah.
to make it happen, and so most improved. And also camp glue, I feel like no matter what was going on, you lifted people's spirits. You were helping us out. You were down to just film, go on hunts. even though it was just like miles after miles, and you weren't even hunting.
Too much fun, dude.
You were like, I'm down for it. If we want to go do that,
Yeah.
you were like, if we want to cross that creek, I'll cross that creek. I don't care. I'll swim if I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all were about to paddle across the lake.
Yeah. Make something happen. Yeah, no.
Bear was going to tow Jack behind his raft in like an inner tube. And Jack was like, I've got shorts. I'll throw on pants when we get to the land.
This morning was way colder than I thought it was. I was like, no, we couldn't do that. I didn't think about that. No, but I appreciate it, Kyle.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
Jack, you are the best hanging camp.
Yeah.
Dude, it was a blast. I really came in with this much and then didn't feel like I'm just leaving with this much knowledge.
Yeah.
And you know, it was a blast hunting with y'all in Arkansas, but getting to come this direction and get to be around Sam and Cam and John and Bear, like that is what, you know, creates knowledge and creates like this ability to leave a legacy. We're like, oh, I'm going to get to teach my kid how to turkey hunt.
That's
one day.
right.
Like,
Sure,
it's really
absolutely.
cool. So
And Jack was taking it serious from like day one. Like at the planning phase, he was like asking questions, soaking stuff in. Like I was like, dang, dude, he's in it.
Yeah.
He's not just a tag along. Like he's wanting to immerse himself in this. So that was really cool.
Even this morning on our hunt, you were like, I think we should do that. You were starting to like make decisions and make calls and like having an opinion on something, not just being like, I don't know, what do you think? So,
yeah, no, it definitely throughout the last several days has been like, oh, I could tell when, you know, this spot wouldn't be so good and when this one would. And just being able to do that is like, oh,
things are starting to click.
things are starting
Yeah,
to click. The
that's
dots are
awesome.
starting to connect. So.
That's a cool feeling.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Heck yeah. Well, that's all we got. Turkey Camp.
I got your award.
2025 is
You
a
can't-
wrap.
You can't not have an award.
Oh, what?
I got you. I just had a tick on me again.
Again,
Yeah, man.
They're
It's
all
on
over
my
these,
knife.
These turkeys, these fans. And
Oh,
stuff.
that makes sense. Kyle's award is the, see if y'all agree. If you don't agree, you can give a different award. Kyle's award is the Smooth Operator Award. Because everything just keeps him smooth. Sam even was like, is he normally that mellow after he kills something?
I thought something was
And
wrong.
I'm
He was
like,
just as casual as
Yeah,
can be.
Kyle's pretty just mellow all the time. Like, never seen him
Bear-
get real high, never seen him get real
Yeah.
low. Like, smooth operator. It's just,
All right.
Bear was hooting and hollering. Kyle was hooting and hollering. I was hooting and hollering. And Kyle was sitting over there just at breakfast, just like,
I'll eat my chicken fried steak, baby.
yes.
Just back to business.
soaking
for
it
now.
up. Back
yeah.
to business.
Inside, I was screaming with joy.
Yeah.
It was
It's
Smooth
just another
operator.
Tuesday morning for me. Or Wednesday morning, I guess.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, that's a wrap for Turkey Camp
That's it.
2025. Best turkey camp of all time.
Oh, yeah.
People are saying it. I don't know. People are talking.
I've heard it.
Everybody at school says it.
Yeah, it's been talked about already.
You want to wrap us up there, Plunkett?
I can wrap us. Well, to everybody who's listened to us just tell hunting stories, thank you. To everybody sitting around this now pretty large circle, thanks for being here, being on the show, joining us at Turkey Camp. Sam, thanks for putting this together, man,
Yeah.
for all the scouting and all the help and all the birds. We will see y'all on the next one.
Good luck this season. Hopefully, y'all got a bird too.